alternate landing spot aside from the golf course at Olympic. Now here is the practice tee. This is live. And Watson's there, Clearwater is there. This Tom Watson in the lower right of your screen. And this is sort of like the moments in a boxing locker room and the guy is shadow boxing, really working off tension more than anything, because if he doesn't have that swing down now, it's a little bit too late. Tom Watson, who spent his college days here at Stanford University, has played this course many times, won his only U.S. Open in California down at Pebble Beach. I'm Jim McKay reporting with Dave Marr, former PGA champion, well, we always say, but in this weekend, I think more important to point out that you finished fourth in this championship the last time it was played here.
Well, that was the best finish I ever had in an Open, Jim, but you know how fate can play a part in anyone's career. And Clearwater's 64 yesterday takes back a little bit to when he shot 64 the last two rounds at Colonial to win the tournament, shoot 128. And they celebrated that night. It turned out the next day was the qualifying for the Open, and he did not want to get up. And his wife, Sue, told him, "You'll be sorry if you don't at least try, because a week from now you'll wish you had." He qualified for the Open, and now look where he is. Fate does play a part in everybody's life, Jim.
Kind of reminds you of when Lee Trevino's first wife, Claudia, insisted that he try to qualify for the Open, and he didn't want to do it.
That's right. He finished 6th or 7th at Baltusrol and now became Lee Trevino. We don't remember those days so much now.
That's right. It's good to remember those things, but you started somewhere else, right? Okay, right now, Al Troutwig is down on the practice tee. Al, are you ready with something down there at the moment?
Jim, I am, and it's a very windy practice tee. Tom Watson has been very businesslike and studious with his practice strokes, and I can't help but remember where I was last year, beginning the fourth round of the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills, and thinking, well, maybe the lightning only strikes at U.S. Opens and not just specifically Olympic. Before the fourth round last year, I interviewed Greg Norman, Hal Sutton, Lee Trevino, and Payne Stewart, and as we all now know, none of those four players were around at the end of the day. The star of yesterday's play in the third round was Keith Clearwater, who's 64 tied a course record. Keith, we've already told the story of your wife waking you up to go to qualifying, and she must be a fairly satisfied wife.
Well, she's thrilled that we're here. You know, sometimes you need a little support from the family members to motivate you, get you out there. And yeah, after the Colonial win, I felt like I'd done something great. I wanted a day off, but she put her feet in the back of me while we were laying in bed and gave me a big push and said, "Get on out there. It might mean something to you in the future," and we're here.
Now, there were some skeptics, I'm sure, who watched you shoot a 64 in the third round at Colonial, who didn't think you could do it again, and you did. And perhaps some of those skeptics are still here in San Francisco. Do you have the same feeling that perhaps you had at Colonial that morning?
Well, you know, you go out and you try to approach the game intelligently. You know, you're going to hit a lot of greens, try to hit the fairways, keep it in play, and putt well. Those are the ingredients to 64, and if it happens again, great. As far as the skeptics, you know, that's one man's opinion, and you got to go out and just try to do your best, do what you can, and not worry about other people, compete with yourself, and hope the day works out.
Keith, have a great round today.
Thank you.
Of course, it says that the book does that Keith lives in Orem, Utah, but in fact he went to high school just 25 miles from here. From the practice tee with the final twosome, Tom Watson and Keith Clearwater, we're awaiting the final round of the U.S. Open today.